Welcome to Wealth Builders. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore, and I'm here with our host, the man with the plan, as always, is Anthony Congemi. Anthony, how are you today? I'm going to let you introduce our very special guest. I can't believe not only did you get him on the show once, but now twice. We have what a huge get for the show. But Anthony, first, how are you? And then tell us about our special guest today.
Absolutely, Tony. Well, thank you so much for being part of our show for the last, I want to say, 12 years. We've been working together, and
12 and a half years.
And I tell you, Tony, I couldn't have done this show without you all those years. We just appreciate you so much. You're, really just the insight you bring, as you work with retirement planners all over the country, and then bringing a lot of those ideas and things that are happening around the country to our show. It's really just been such a game changer for us in our show. So we appreciate you, Tony. And yeah, we've been very active this summer with prepping for tax. We had tax season, and now we're prepping for the fall, which we have another. We have tax planning coming up before, as we start closing through the fall and the end of the year. Taxes, Tony, as you know, tax preparation is done in January and February, but tax planning really needs to be done all throughout the year. And so we've got a lot of that going on right now. But all in all, been good, Tony. Everything's been going good. As you say, we do have a special guest with us here again. We have Adam Ledet, who is my nephew, who has been doing our cybersecurity workshops. We do those breakfasts, special breakfasts once a month at the Sheraton in Metairie. And Adam, he's just finishing up his master's in computer science at Tulane University, and really has really taken on this topic for us. Cybersecurity and these scams, Tony, have really run rampant. I think through all walks of life, but particularly I think with retirees and people as they're getting older. It seems like these scams, we at least once or twice a month, we hear from a client that has their data has been breached. Somebody's gotten into their computer, gotten into their accounts. And so we really want to take this topic head on. And that's why we have Adam with us here today in our show, Tony, is to talk to our listeners about this cybersecurity and these scams that are out there, and really just to try to arm yourself, prepare yourself so you're not caught off guard. And I think that's really what happens is people just get caught off guard, and before you know it, you've got, you've got problems.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me. Yes, I'm Adam Ledet, and I'm here to talk a little bit, expanding on previously. I talked about cybersecurity. Now we're going to go over AI deepfakes and fraud prevention.
Very good. Yeah, well, we're looking forward to that, Adam, and we appreciate you taking the time to do it. Tony, before we get Adam going, how about in your neck of the woods?
Well, I can say that I don't know about AI, but it's in the last hour I have gotten one voicemail spam message and a couple of texts just in the last hour that are spam. So I get them all day long now, and I see that my dad and mom are elderly, and they get hit up so much. And some of the emails and things they get are so realistic and so convincing. Even I'm like taking a second, like, wait, is this real? And I just assume now, I think we have to take the assumption that it's not. But I've been great. My kids are great. We're empty nesters. And we're enjoying that, but we really enjoy it when the kids all come back and we're all together as a family. You learn to really appreciate that once the kids are out of the house. So we got together recently and rented a cabin up in the North Woods, and it was kind of on stilts looking out over the forest. Very cool.
Oh, wow.
So we had a nice little couple of days with the family, with all three of our kids and their significant others. So that was fun. That's been about it. Just working hard here, Anthony, and trying to keep up with you. I
Yeah.
can't do it.
How many shows you do a week, Tony?
Well, we had Jacqueline helping out. We had a third person on the radio team, and she recently quit, and it was kind of unexpected. So, I've been doing about 9 shows a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
So yeah, 1 an hour is starting at 8 a.m. all the way to 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. And, usually a half hour at most. So, I get a few minutes in between each show, but I do a lot of shows. In the past 13 years since you and I started, Anthony happened to be the first person when I came on to Gradient Financial and started the radio program, doing shows with top advisors around the country. Anthony was the first person I ever worked with, and we've been doing it together ever since. So
Yeah.
I haven't done a show with any one person longer than I've done this show with Anthony. And so that's really cool. Just over 12 and a half years, almost 13 years ago now. And I've done about 23,000 shows in the last 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's a lot of insight, Tony. Because, like I said,
yeah.
on the onset, talking to really top tier financial advisors that specialize in retirement planning around the country. I mean, you really do sit in a very unique, position there where you can really spend time with so many of these advisors that are working with clients, just like we are here, to help people retire and live a successful retirement. So,
Yeah.
like I say, you bring some really tremendous insight through our shows, and so we really just appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Anthony, but it's everything I've learned from you over the last 13 years, really. I mean, that's I've learned. I didn't know anything about the financial industry. I've worked in radio 41 years, and when I started working with you, I had to learn as I went, and it's really, my wife and I have benefited from this so much because of what we've learned.
So, well, very good. Well, so we're going to go to our special guest, Adam Ledet. As I say, Adam has just been a tremendous resource for us, doing a real deep dive into all of the various scams and the cybersecurity and the things to really look out for. So, without any further ado, we are going to have Adam Ledet get us started with scams and the cybersecurity and how to defend against these criminals.
Thank you very much. And the very first thing I'd like to talk about is what is happening. Why are there now so many new scam calls that we're getting, these emails? We should have a lot of different defenses to protect against these things, but the barrier for creating these scams, the ease with which it's able to send out so many malicious messages has just gotten very, very low. It's very easy for a malicious actor to send out 10,000 emails to 100,000 different people.
Wow.
They can do this, and the quality with which they're able to send them is actually going up. In the past, if you wanted to scam someone, you would write one scam message. Oh, I'm a Nigerian prince, and please send me money. And you would send this one message to every single person you could. And that means that once the scam is found out, everyone knows, hey, if you get this message, it's a scam. But nowadays, with artificial intelligence allowing people to customize and personalize messages to adapt to certain scenarios, they're able to send many new creations to many more people and make them feel more personalized. So whenever we get any type of message, the very first thing we want to see is, does this look legitimate? We should see, do we have proof that this is coming from who it claims to be coming from? Many example scams are these deepfake voices. Now, I've used the phrase deepfake before. And to elaborate what that is, deep faking or deep learning is a style of artificial intelligence generation. Deep is just the preceding phrase for it. Importantly is that aspect of fake. It's some type of artificial intelligence generation that is not real. When they fake a voice, it can sound like someone you know, or just sound like a very real person, but it isn't real. They might fake messages that look from official sources. It looks just like it's coming from the government or from someone else, or it might even be a live video call that says, hey, you recognize me, I'm a person, but it isn't really them. So that's all a lot of really scary stuff.
Yeah.
How do we defend against it? The very first thing we want to do is just take a break. Just pause and stop. Time is the enemy of scams. They want you to act rashly, act right now, and do it. Don't think about it. Don't blaze ahead. Just go straight for it. If you take a moment to just relax, take a step back, and look at what is happening, that might help you see better inconsistencies that are popping up or other things that are happening. It might make you question, wait a minute, do I really want to give my credit card information to this person that's going out over there? There is actually a 4-step or 5-step process that I'd like to go over today called the proof method. Our first step we've just talked about, which is to pause. Just take 30 seconds to 60 seconds to evaluate what the heck is happening and say, is this real? Let's just not even think about it. Just wait. Next, let's require a second source.
Now, before you jump there, Adam, I'm sorry, but when you say stop and pause and is this real, what would you say would be the best, determining factor for you to confirm whether it's real or not?
Well, now that would be the next steps of this acronym. The very first step is just to pause, just to take a moment and say, let's not act rashly and do whatever they say. Let's just stop right now and take a breath. Second step is going to be require a second source. If someone claims to be someone you know, or from the government, or some official aspect, 2-factor verify who that is. If they say they're your grandson, go ahead and take a second and call the number you know is associated with your grandson, or call their parent, or call someone that you know is able to check in on them right away. If they say they're from the government, go ahead and independently call the government on the number that they say is on their website. Don't just trust whatever email says it's from the government. Take a second source to verify it. In our acronym, we have P for pause, R for require a second source, and O, we have observe any inconsistencies. By pausing, we're able to look at the whole picture, and we might see, hey, this name is kind of changing its spelling a couple of times. Or maybe, hey, they're referring to me in more general terms instead of my actual name, or they're saying some things that don't quite add up. If you notice some things that are a little weird, that's a good call to raise your defenses and say, this isn't quite right. Proof has 2 O's, and our second O is outside verification only. Now, I said to use a second source of verification, but if the scammer says, oh, you can call this number to confirm who I am, ignore it entirely. You don't know if that number is legitimate. And if someone claiming to be from the government says, you can call my friend Bob and he'll back me up, that isn't going to do you any good. You need to independently go call the government office or check in with someone that you know to help verify this. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Tony. I don't think I'm.
Oh, sorry. So you mean track down the number on your own? Maybe look it up, Google look up the website or an email to find that company's official contact information or that organization.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'd like to interject there. One that just happened to a client of ours just recently, within the past month. She got an email from what she thought was her. It was an antivirus software she had, Norton Antivirus, and she got an email that said she needed to click this box or click this link to update her antivirus software. So, and it looked very legitimate. I mean, it was, presumably came from the company saying update your, you're at risk if you don't update your subscription and don't update, new software, new updates. So, we see that all the time. So she clicked, to update. She's with the company. She clicked to update, and sure enough, it wasn't from the antivirus software company. It was not. It was from a scammer who got into her computer and got into her checking account and stole about $20,000 from her.
Oh,
okay. Now, what Adam's saying is, if she would have looked, let's say, at the email address that it was coming from, which she then looked later, it wasn't from Norton at all. It was some obscure email address. And then if she'd have taken that second step and called her Norton antivirus company and said, hey, this is my account. This is who I am. I mean, did y'all send me this email, to verify that it did come from them? Unfortunately, these are the steps we need to take. I mean, we need to verify, who people are that are saying, hey, they're this person. I mean, let's verify who they are, because it's just becoming more and more and more prevalent. And as Adam mentioned, and I didn't quite, but I understand that with AI now, it seems like they can do a lot more of this in a bigger way than they could before.
That's exactly right. And whenever this happens, whenever you are the victim of a scam, you might feel, oh, I'm foolish. Oh, I've done something terrible. And you may even call yourself stupid or an idiot. I want to in no uncertain terms, say that's wrong. Smart people, very intelligent people, fall for scams all the time.
yeah.
Falling for a scam has nothing to do with your intelligence. You can be a foolish person and fall for scams. You can be a very smart person and fall for scams. The scammers actively want you to feel like it's all your fault. They want to isolate you and make you feel this guilt, because that makes you even easier to target again.
Yeah.
Now, you might think that it's happened to me once, it'll never happen again. Sadly, the recidivism rate of people who fall victims to scams is rather high exactly for that. They think, oh, I've been a fool, but now I'm going to be better. Unless you take very active steps and know what to do when you are being targeted for a scam, I lament to say that's very possible it could happen again.
Yeah, it's really terrible. Okay, Adam. Well, what other things should we be looking for, and what are some of the things that we can do to protect ourselves?
Well, there are two big aspects of cybersecurity, I'll say. There is the actual cybersecurity end, which is the more technical side of things. And then there is the fraud prevention side of things, the more emotional side. In my previous talk, I've gone over the technical side of cybersecurity, and here I've talked more on the emotional side for fraud prevention. If you're having a difficult time imagining what these two differences are, go ahead and imagine your safe account or all of your checking as being behind a locked door. Cybersecurity determines how tough that door is. Is it made of thin, flimsy plastic? Is it made of glass? Or is it big iron and all set? Now, fraud prevention is saying that you have the key to open this door. Do not give the key to someone else. It doesn't matter how awesome your door is. If somebody else manages to take the key from you or trick you into giving them the key, then all of your defenses are going to fall apart. So fraud prevention is becoming aware of when someone is trying to trick you into giving them your keys. And there are some, shall I say, red flags that will make you go, oh, this is almost certainly a scam. And the very first one is that sense of urgency. Oh my gosh, you have to act right now. You are in critical danger. Your loved one is in critical danger. Or if you don't do this, you will face dire consequences. Remember, if we see something like this, we need to pause. We need to relax. Nothing is so dire or so immediate that taking a minute to evaluate everything and read very carefully will cause some calamity. Another little sign of, oh my gosh, something is bad, is a scammer trying to keep you on the line or keep you in their network. If you say, I need to verify this independently, or let me call my financial advisor, or let me call my grandson or call a parent, if they try to say, no, you need to do this right now and do it by yourself, that's a red flag. Hang up on that person immediately. People will generally be okay with you including others, being public and talking to each other. Scammers want you to stay isolated. Don't tell your son about this. Don't tell your advisor about this. This is a big secret between us, or it's very important that you do this now before talking to anyone else.
Yeah, which it almost seems, you know, obvious that that would be the case. That, you know, if somebody was to say, oh, don't call your financial advisor, or don't call your son, or don't call your, you know, the banker, or don't verify, you know, if it was a legitimate, you know, concern, you would think that the party would say, sure, let's get your advisor on the phone. Let's get your, you know, your parent or your sibling, or whoever they're saying is in trouble. But the sheer fact that they're trying to isolate you, you know, great, Adam, it really is a red flag. I mean, anybody, because, you know, the ones that I've heard of with clients of ours that have gotten involved in all these scams with people, you know, it is a very common theme. You know, that's exactly what they say is, oh, you know, we can't tell anybody, you know. I mean, that right there, if you just know that if it's legitimate, you can tell somebody, okay?
Right.
If they say you can't tell somebody, beware.
Now, you mentioned something that it seemed so obvious that this has to be a scam. And you're right. It can feel very obvious in hindsight, because in hindsight, you've got all the time in the world to look at it. And because it can seem so obvious in hindsight, people might feel shame. They might feel embarrassed. They might feel like, oh my gosh, I've made such an idiotic mistake. Those are bad feelings to have. By that, I mean, you are not to blame. If someone takes advantage of you or they trick you in some way, that is a terrible mark against them and not on you. Do not feel ashamed of yourself for falling for a scam. You should talk to other people. Let them know. United together and sharing information, we are all better for it. We can build each other up and better protect each other, or rebuild ourselves when we've been taken advantage of. It breaks my heart whenever a client or a friend or someone else says, oh, you know, I've been taken advantage
they're
in this
embarrassed
way. But don't tell so and so forth. I don't want my mom to know. I don't want my child to know. I don't want my friends to know.
Right.
I'm just going to keep this all to myself. And it can be kind of embarrassing to broadcast, hey, I was victimized. Somebody took advantage of me. But doing so can help everyone around you be A, aware of that scam, and B, able to help you recover from it. Some resources you may want to consider are going to reportfraud.ftc or calling the AARP, the American Association for Retired Persons, Fraud Watch Network, as they have resources to help you potentially recover from frauds or make others aware of what has happened.
Yeah, very good. And Adam, you know, it's just on my mind to say, because when I think about my client just recently that clicked the update button and they got into her computer and then got into her bank account, you know, when you do the cybersecurity talk and you talk about prevention of cybersecurity, you know, one of the things that really just jumped out at me to that would have certainly protected this woman and probably many people that get caught up in, you know, somebody hacking into their computer and then getting into their accounts, is that that double authentication where you have to have a code. Can you just talk a minute about that? Like if I go to my bank account and I want to log in, how can, if somebody else can get my login and go to, talk a little bit about how that can protect people on the cybersecurity side.
So what I believe you're referencing is two-factor authentication, or 2FA. And this is a scary, annoying thing that some people might have heard of, and I'll go ahead and say that nobody likes. No one likes having to use two-factor authentication. I certainly don't, but it tremendously helps your security. Now, what is two-factor authentication? It's the idea that when you log in, you need at least two things to prove you are who you say you are. The same way you're asking scammers to prove, hey, you've got to have two big things to make sure I know who you are. Your bank wants to know two big things to say that you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
The first being your username and password. Just if I have that login, great, you're probably you, but maybe a scammer stole that. So I want to prove who that is. The second factor in two-factor authentication is usually a special code sent to an email or phone number that you trust. You'll then find that code on your email or your phone, and you will type that code in when you go to log in, and now you're able to log in. You've just proved you have the username and password, and you have this special code. You have this secondary device. The idea behind two-factor is if someone's saying they're you and they have your phone or they have your email, they're probably you. An important note is that when you set up two-factor authentication, it is a good idea to have redundant two factors. By that, I mean set up a phone, but also set up an email, and then maybe set up a phone or email of someone that you very much trust. The reason is because when you set up two-factor, your account is locked down tight. But if you lose your device and it's the only one that you had to prove who you say you are, that all of a sudden might mean that you've locked yourself out of your devices if you no longer have access to your phone or your email. So having a few extra backups can help you to verify you are someone legitimate.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot, there, and we certainly want to continue the discussion of scams and cybersecurity, because we recognize that it really is out there. And now with technology, which, technology is such a tremendous tool for so many industries. And so, the birth of AI and how that's being integrated in so many different industries is really it's phenomenal tool, but it's also a tool for the criminals. And we just have to be on alert and look for those red flags. And, I might, I venture to say that if you know what to look for and you know what red flags are out there and what their techniques and tricks are, you can protect yourself. You can protect yourself. You don't have to be paranoid. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to have fear. You just have to be equipped and have to have the knowledge to know what to look for. And that's what we hope to provide here on our show. I know on September the 1st at the Sheraton in Metairie, we're going to be doing a full cybersecurity and fraud prevention breakfast workshop, which is open to the public, open to our listening audience. It's really a phenomenal event. It's at the Sheraton in Metairie on Galleria Boulevard, right across from the Galleria. And that'll be on September the 1st. We actually do these events every month, but this September the 1st, next month, it's on a Tuesday morning at 9:30, and it goes till about 11:30. It's a full breakfast. It's certainly free, no admission, and we'll have some great information as it relates to fraud prevention and cybersecurity. So we hope that if you're listening and you want to learn more, please let us know. You can go to crescentcityretirement.com or give our office a call at 504-828-2171 and let us know you would like to attend one of the events.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great offer, and you can learn a lot there. There's so much great information on this. And the more informed you are, the better you're going to be able to protect yourself. And that's why we have Adam on. Adam, thanks for joining us today.
It's been my absolute
Anthony,
pleasure.
yeah, Anthony, great show. And again, great show, great topic. It's so important. But that does it for today's episode of Wealth Builders with our host, Anthony Kangemi.